November Romeo Hotel, doing a general call for everybody to join me in the Cray Valley 2 meter Sunday morning net. This is Golf 6 November Romeo Hotel, standing by. We've already got 3 members already who have actually signed on the list. We've got M0JCF, M7ITY, G8YTZ, and anybody else like to quickly join us. This is Golf 6 November Romeo Hotel, standing by.
G0KPZ.
G0KPZ. Hello, David. Lovely signal. 5 and 9. Lovely this end. Anybody else like to quickly join us?
M0KUK.
M0KUK. Where's Alex? I suppose is he going to be with you, or is he sort of revising or doing something? Whatever. Lovely signal. 5 and 9. M0KUK. Golf 6 November Romeo Hotel. Anybody else like to quickly join us? Nothing so far. Right, so at the moment, as I say, we've got M0JCF, M7I, I think it should be IPY, but anyway, G8YTZ, G0KPZ, and Yakov, M0KUK. With that, can you start the ball rolling, please, Mark? Over to you, mate. M0JCF, G6NRH.
Yeah, M0JCF in the Cray Valley Sunday morning 2 meter net. I'm just recording this. I'll only be here for the first half an hour, so depending how many people join in will be depending how many times I make my jaw work. But today I'm using the TS-700 by Trio. I bought it off of Mark over in Essex, was it last Saturday, and paid 70 quid for it, and it's absolutely mint. It's lovely radio. Comes with the original microphone as well. The only issues with it is the meter bulb is out and one of the dial bulbs is out. Apart from that, every other bulb's working. What's nice about this one is, I don't know if anyone knows these radios, the 700, 700S, 700G. They've got a hinged lid on them, and this one's actually got its securing locking screws in the top. So although they've got the two little push buttons, you would normally like push down, they flick up, and then you can lift the lid, but the securing screws are there. So it looks like this one has been probably light use and never really sort of been messed about with. It's always nice when you buy a radio and it's not scuffed. I mean, I expect a radio at this age to have wear and tear, but this one hasn't. And as I say, nice to see like securing screws in, because what a lot of people do, I mean, I'm just as bad for this. I'll take out the 2 securing screws, because the lid will hinge and lock and all the rest of it, and then I'll just never get round to putting the screws back in because I'm lazy like that. But no, this one's all there, so I'm very pleased with it. I'm running it through a little amplifier today, so we're 30 watts out. I would imagine with the 30 watts that I'm seeing, I'm probably got about 7 or 8 watts drive from the back of the radio. I haven't actually checked the power from this radio. So that's the story. It's into the collinear as always, and not a lot else to say about this radio, 2 meters. Did some testing earlier in the week with Beardy Dave down there in Dartford. It looks like he's now into the full swing of antennas and radios and everything else, so we'll coax him onto HF very soon. He did come round my house to pick up his 4 meter antenna, and I did try to force him to, I forget the station now, it might have been Brazil. I tried to get him to quickly work the Brazil. It would have been a 5 and 9 swap, but he called me an HF bully, so we left it at that. HF wise, not done a lot this week. There has been some sporadic E. We're coming into sporadic E season, and worked a few Europeans in an arc. You always know when it's sporadic E rather than F layer, at least on my antennas, because suddenly, especially on 10 and 12 meters, you start getting countries closer to the UK. So, you know, like Hungary, I think was one of the first, then a couple of French stations, etc. So I knew it was, Spain. Yeah, I did get Spain. Heard some Polish stations, but didn't work them. So we know that the sporadic E is now starting to pick up. And of course, if anyone wants any sort of, I suppose, fairly accurate but very interesting predictions, you can't do any worse than going to Jim Bacon, the old BBC weatherman from the 60s, 70s. I've forgotten his call sign. He's a G3 up in Norfolk. But he's got a website called PropQuest, and he does, from May through to August, he does sporadic E predictions based on wind patterns, that sort of stuff, you know, air pressure, wind patterns, mainly the jet stream and that. And he sort of basically gives you an idea where to expect. And do you know what? I quite often find he's relatively accurate. But there you go, turn on the radio, have a shout out. As I say, DX wise, it's been the usual, quite a bit out of the Middle East. And of course, yesterday was the Holy Land competition. And so I worked a few of them out of Israel, and I got fed up with that. And then the afternoon we went and did something different. So that's the story. Everyone who's joined so far, that's Dave G6NRH, Dave M7IPY, Justin G8YTZ, is it Chris? So apologies if I got your name wrong, mate. G0KPZ and Jakob M0KUK. You're all on this radio, 5 and 9 plus, sort of anywhere between plus 10 and plus 20. That's on this particular needle. So handing it around to you then, Beardy. M7IPY from M0JCF.
Thank you, M0JCF, M7IPY returning. I just left a little gap in case anybody wanted to get in, but no, looks like it's my go. My goodness, what a week. I'm actually not on a hill in a car. I'm now at home in the luxury of my nice little room that I can play with me shiny toys. I went shopping on Monday. You know, I was asking about radios last Sunday. Well, last Monday it was like, well, I counted up all my pocket money, and because I haven't bought crisps or comics for 2 weeks, I managed to go out and buy some radios. I've now bought a Yaesu FT-500D, a dual bander. You probably all know the radio. It's lovely, it's shiny, it's got a big knob on it, and I even know what some of the buttons do, so that's progress. That was a nice buy. I've also bought the DX10, which isn't out the box yet, even though the HF Bully Mark was trying to get me up and going straight away. I just haven't got any antennas to plug into it at the moment, except the 6-meter function on this tri-bander that I'm using right now. So yeah, I managed to put up an antenna this week, tri-bander. Hopefully you can all hear me okay, but it's so nice working from home. This is a novelty, this. I know I've only been in ham radio for 3 weekends, but it's nice being at home, having a really good cup of coffee, and chatting with all you lot in the morning. I've made a few contacts on it, no sort of big distance. I had a good rag chew with Clint over in West Kingsdown, G7MNZ. Chatting with him yesterday, had a really good long chat about hi-fi. Justin, you would have loved it. Lots of talk about quad and the electrostatic lag speakers. I think Justin's the next one in the loop. So M7IPY handing over to G8YTZ.
Yeah, M7IPY, G8YTZ. I had a little flutter the other day. I bought myself a new cartridge, actually. I've been thinking about it for a while, and although I very much like the A&R P77, they are getting a bit antique, and I think the technology's probably moved on. So, looking at various online reviews, I sort of focused in on Goldring as having something I like, and also I focused so it's a gold ring, and also the fact it's British made. The factory's very near Stansted Airport. So I contacted a few months ago. I contacted Goldring Support, told them what I had and what their recommendations and their range would be, and they came back with some enormous detail, which was extremely helpful. And I decided to go moving magnet because I changed cartridges over, particularly for the 78. Of course, I've got a Shaw M44E with the 78 stylus on it, so it's not practical to change the input module on the preamp over to what do you call it? Moving a coil every time you want to play a 78. So no, that wasn't going to work. Even the high output, although they're high output inverted commas, they're still, frankly, I've still got to change the attenuators in the moving magnet input, so it's not, because they're not quite as high output as moving magnet. So yeah, that's what I did. And I went on their recommendation really, but with the 1022GX, which was on a special offer in a shop in Birmingham, which I popped into in Digby's, and I was up there with my daughter on actually Thursday. I went in there, and very, very pleased results. So I've noticed marked improvement in the top response and the sibilance. But interestingly enough, the old cartridge and tone armor, arrangements must have had some kind of resonance at sort of sub bass, because I've noticed there's not much rumble on my turntable anyway, but it's noticeably there's a reduction in certainly low frequency surface noise as well. So I think that's been a real success. Very, very pleased with that upgrade. I'm sure that will last me many years, and they're not too expensive either. That's the other thing. I'm delighted, and their advice was spot on as well. I think So yeah, I've done a little review I've published online on that, in particular in the Quad owners group. So yeah, there we got it. I think I told you I was disappointed at the various hi-fi shows I've been to. I really can't hear any funny speakers which are significantly better than what I've got, even though what I've got is 40 years old. So it just goes to show. Right, signal strength report. Sorry, NRH, I didn't look when you were transmitting, but JCF, you're S9 plus 10. IPY, you're S9. KUK, you're S0. Can't hear you. S0, readability 0. Not a dicky bird. So I don't know what you've done. I always used to be able to hear you okay, but you've whatever you've done, undo it, because I expect better from a man of your technical capabilities. Or maybe you've not switched away from the dummy load, but there we go. Right, it's round to G0KPZ. David, you take it. J8YTZ.
From G0KPZ with a break. Yeah, good morning everyone. What's been happening here radio-wise? Not a lot. I had a couple of calls with Romania to what was it? What station is it? I can't remember what it's called now. Anyway, to get a diploma, one of these things that come on. Well, pull yourself together. World Amateur Radio Day certificate. I thought I heard one. I give them a call, and I've heard another one. I thought I need one more, and I can get a diploma online. So I'll give that a go. So I'm listening out for that. Similarly, an Italian. There's an Italian station set up at the moment. Italy 3 Tango November X-ray Charlie anniversary award. I thought work some of those, see if I can get that award. So that's that's it, I think, pretty much on the radio side. Haven't done much else. Trying to get back into the CW a bit more. Well, interested in supporting the Cray Valley CW initiative that's coming up as well. So trying to get a bit better on that at the moment. I think the interesting thing that I saw, which was yesterday, was a YouTube video on server power supplies. I'm sure everybody knows about ordinary PSU power supplies in just ordinary computers, and how to arrange the wiring in those to get a PSU out of them with a reasonable amount of amps for small stuff. But I hadn't thought about it before. The server power supplies, which are nice slim boxed units, at 12 volts, which is their standard running rate, they can kick out 60 amps, and you can make a couple of modifications, just short out a resistor and short across the switch on bar to make, because the thing won't switch on unless it's plugged in, so you have to short the switch on bar out. You can push them up to max of 13.8, although they're likely to cut out if you do that. But it seems that you can get them around 13.5 fairly stable, and you can pick them up really cheap, second hand. So I was looking, I mean, I'm all right for power supplies, but I just thought that was a really interesting thing. You know, if you're a bit short cash or you fancy playing around, provided you know what you're doing, of course, as always, the usual thing to say, or you want a spare unit. So I just mentioned that. I just thought that was an interesting aspect. I suspect that some people might even be able to pick them up for nothing, because I always hear about people getting hold of redundant office kit, which seems to circulate very, very, they go around quite quickly. They don't keep stuff for long, do they? So that's my update. Everyone is 5.9+++, except Jakob, and I wasn't looking at the meter to be honest, but you were down, I think, and you were down on what I've heard you are on the past, so echo a bit what Justin's just said. But I'll put it round to you, see what you're up to, and see it, just put it across. M0K UK to take it from G0KPZ and the Cray Valley Net.
G0KPZ, M0K UK returning. Yeah, I wonder what's happening here as well, but many thanks for all the reports, guys. I'm trying to figure things because I'm testing a small linear amplifier. KX3 is pretty narrow in power that it can output on 2 meters, and it's getting hot pretty quickly. So trying to figure out the amp here to bring it a little bit more. But looks like there are some issues there, so we'll need to figure it out. Otherwise, I would say everyone is a nice signal here, so 5 and 9, without any issues, except for Dave, the bass. I have no copy, he's barely breaking my squelch, so not sure what's going on there. But it might be the setup that I have, and yeah, Justin, yeah, I definitely will need to figure things out, and I probably make it my last over, so it will be a short one for me, as I have to take my kids to the training, but also figure out those things here. Yeah, the amplifier, when I was testing it yesterday, seemed to be working just fine. Today seems that it might not be that great after all. So we'll need to see how it works. Otherwise, the antenna-wise, it's a Slim Jim, and it's windy a little bit, so the pole that I'm using is bending, and the pole I'm using is for that Slim Jim is just a kite ball. It's 10 meters, so it's relatively high, but it's on the other side of the house from Justin, so that might be one other reason for him not to be able to copy me. And yeah, I'll play with the antennas and the stuff later today, so hopefully I'll be able to make Dave as well from his QT18 Ford. Otherwise, I played a little bit with the Morse Simon, so having the Morse year in the Cray Valley makes me also try to figure out what can we do from the project perspective. And although we have a great kits this year for the project, then I still like to play around, and I'm building the Morse Simon, so hopefully I'll be able to do some write-up there and share that with everyone. Okay, I'll make it short and see how it goes. Otherwise, if I won't be able to join for next over, probably I'll listen for another 5 to 10 minutes. And wish everyone a good Sunday, and say 7-3. Good to catch up with you guys today. G6 NRH from M0KUK in the group.
M0KUK, Gold 6 November, Romeo Hotel, returning in the Cray Valley. Sunday morning, 2 meter net, all copied, Yakov, and yeah, have a nice one, mate, and it's nice hearing you, mate. What was I going to say? It was everybody. I suppose I should give quick reports really. Everybody's all 5 and 9 this end. Dave the bass, you're slightly low in output. That's all I can say. Perfectly readable, but he seems a bit down. Not noise-wise, but the actual volume seems a bit low. Your audio is a bit softer than everybody else's, but perfectly readable from my end. So. It's being a bit finicky when you start talking about different things, but it's all, as long as I can hear you and you're making it, if you're doing it at 5 and 9, man, there's no problems there. Oh dear. What else? When it comes to radios, I'm using the Anytone 778 UV, which is about 25 watts, but I'm running at the moment middle power, so it's running at about 13.2, 13.18, with a SWR of about 1.8, which is not bad. It's making the trip, and everybody's all lovely, and the audio seems to be okay. I know I've got such a trebly voice, and it frightens me when I listen to it when Mark does his recordings. I listen back. I always think I've got a much deeper voice than I have, and it sounds, oh my, who the hell is that? It's me. Oh well, I've got to start speaking with a deeper voice, maybe that might help, but yeah. It was great to hear everybody on Friday on the 4 meter net. It was a really good net. We had, I think, about 8 members that came up, and it was really quite enjoyable. We had a little chat and everything else. It's such a lovely band. I do love 4 meters, and it's always good fun, and you can really just let your hair down and have a good chat and see how put the world to rights. As it comes to everything else like HF, etc., I haven't really done a lot, to be perfectly honest. I've still got the kids looking at me as if to say, come on Dave, get your finger out and start building me. And I will do, hopefully start today or maybe Monday, because it depends, I might be a bit busy today. Yeah, as I say, everybody is all 5 and 9, lovely, lovely signals. With that, I'll quickly pass it over to you, Mark. Golf, good me, M0JCF G6 NRH in the group.
Yeah, M0JCF in the group from G6 NRH. Yeah. Yeah, I won't worry about the G0, M0. I don't care. I've got the full license. It don't really matter to me, you know, what call sign I use anymore. No one's taking any notice, are they? 4 meters, do you know, I've been on the 4 meter net for some time, but I've got a couple of accesses to 4 meters. The IC 7300, of course. But what I've got right in front of me, that I haven't used for a while is the Tate T2000 II. It's the 2010, this one, the 4-channel one. And it's actually a lovely rig. If ever you can pick up the low band Tate, the low band taxi radios, they're absolutely fantastic for 4 meters. But of course, 4 meters, like 6 meters, it's quite good in the fact that, you know, there's so many possibilities with propagation. Of course, you've got your ground wave, you've got your sporadic E, and you've also got some possibility of DX with 4 meters, more so with 6 meters. I mean, they call 6 meters the magic band, don't they? But 4 meters isn't far off it. Obviously, you know, a lot more possibilities, I would say, than 2 meters. I haven't done any 2 meter DX in for a while now. I've got a 9-element LFA on a rotator. And but I really haven't been down in the 144s too much recently. Talking on bands as well, that Dave the Bass has been on with me. We was on 70 centimeters as well this week. We thought we'd try out his antenna there. I don't think I was his first contact, if I remember rightly, but yeah, we tried out 70 sems as well. So at least he's got you know, like results there for his antenna. And talking of Dave the Bass and G8YTZ Justin, talking about your styluses, do you know what, if it was the other way round, I would have said, you know, my phone is listening to me. But I got one of those suggested videos the other day on YouTube, and it was not the 9 o'clock news when Mel Smith walks into a shop and he wants to buy a gramophone, and Rowan Atkinson and Griff Rhys-Jones start to lay into him about, you know, what amplifier do you want, and what deck do you want, and all the rest of it. And in the end, they got him so flustered and confused, they ask him if he wants a paper bag on his head, and he says, yes, I want a paper bag on my head, and that's what they do. So yeah, it just reminds me of that. Awards. The other award that you may be aware of, they do it every year, the Spanish. This year it's, I think it's 75 years of amateur radio in Spain. So the call signs all start with AW75 and then 3 letters. A couple of years ago I did I think it was the AW70 or whatever, and I actually managed to get the bronze, silver and gold awards, and I got fed up at that point and didn't work them for the platinum. But there's been a few of them, well, they do it every year, but there's been a few that I've sort of jumped in on. This one only half-heartedly, because I've only been working really 10 meters. They've been a bit thin on the ground on 10 meters until the sporadic E pops up, but you'll find them all over 20 and 40 meters, and it's very, very easy then, you know, to get the bronze, silver and gold awards. So if you're chasing awards and diplomas for your walls, then look out for the AW75s, I believe they are. As I say, not really been that involved. I've worked quite a few, but you know, like, not enough. I think I've got is it Setua and Melilla, whatever it's called, that little enclave that's opposite Gibraltar in Morocco. So I've got that one. That will be the A. Is it normally there'd be an EA9, wouldn't they? So, but anyway, and power supplies. Server power supplies, yes, I use them all the time. In fact, I'm using one at the moment that's just powering the little amplifier. It's a HP. Now, I do favour the Hewlett-Packard ones. It's the HP DPS 800. You can get spot on 13.8 volts out of them. It's adjustable from 12.25 to 13.8. At 13.9 they shut themselves down, but they are variable, about 90 amps. So I'd say a little bit less at 13.8. The other one that I use, and I've used a lot of them, I must have modified about 30 or 40 of these, and it's Hewlett-Packard. And I've actually got a video on YouTube that I did showing my version of modifications. This one's 12.25 volts at 62 amps. and I'll give you the number. It's a bit more convoluted, this number. This number is the HSTNS PL29. There is a PL27, there's a PL, there's a few of them, but they are very, very nice power supplies. Say lots and lots of amps. You can parallel them as well. The radio controlled modelling for Eternity love them for very, very fast charging of their LiPo batteries. So that's that. And the only other thing that I suppose relates to CW that Jakub was saying was, is I bought yet another Pixie kit. Now, I bought the Pixie. Everyone that knows the Pixie is the 500 milliwatt CW single frequency transceiver costing about £3.50. You buy it as a kit. But with my Pixie, and I actually got the heads up from Dav, WDV, when he did a talk on homebrew constructions, but in kit form. And the heads up from him was about the Pixie, converting it to AM. So you leave out some components, you build yourself a microphone preamp and a mixer, probably using a 386 chip. And then obviously you'd have to have a slightly different crystal. You don't want to be transmitting AM in the CW portion of 40 meters. But yeah, you can convert them to AM, and they appear to work quite well. Then the second modification is obviously like 40 meters. Not a lot of people use AM on 40 meters. Normally about 7180 you normally find them, but there's another modification for top band. So I thought to myself, do you know what, I'll buy another one or two of these kits, and I'll convert it to AM to show that AM works, and then convert it to top bands just for the sheer fun of it. But yeah, I've built so many of these Pixies. Never ever used one on CW. I keep building them and then I give them away. In fact, I think I gave one away as an unbuilt kit at the construction thing when I did the soldering thing last year. But yeah, I just keep buying them. I build them. I give them away. I get these ideas, and then I get fed up with the idea. Well, that was that. I've got nothing else to add now. It is 10:30. I did say that I would vanish at 10:30. We've got to go dog walking, my daughter's dog, so we're going to take him up the woods. So I'll say goodbye 73 to everyone. I have been recording this one as well, so Dave, you will hear yourself. Now, one thing to note for Dave, G6NRH, we're talking about people's audio quality. Your audio quality is nice, but, and there is a but, and it might just be me, but it's almost like your microphone needs a pop filter, a wind filter stroke pop filter. You do get emphasis on certain letters. I know this because I used to run an internet radio show, and obviously we're using broadcast quality microphones, and we had to use pop filters and wind filters, that sort of thing, because they were notorious, especially on the letter P and things like that, almost blow your eardrums out. So yeah, the pop filters cured that. I mean, a bit of old ladies' tights stretched over a bent coat hanger wire held in front of the microphone. Now, I'm not saying that's what you want to do, but you get sort of the idea. But yeah, and I never considered it before until you mentioned, about was it Dave the Bass and how he sounded quiet. Now, Dave the Bass sounds loud to me, and a very nice audio. So that's the story. I just thought I'd use that as a passing comment. Right, well, I'm going to close down my station, stop the recording, and say wish everyone 73 have a great Sunday, and I'll catch up with you all soon. You know where to find me anyway. So round to you, Dave the Bass, M7IPY. This is M0JCF in the group, wishing you all a good day. Bye bye for now.
For now. G0 FT. List. Go on, Dave. Off you go. gave the base. Go on, mate. M7 IPY, Golf 6 November Romeo Hotel. Go on, off you go.
Golf 6 November Romeo Hotel. M7 IPY returning. There's also Frank, FDP is out there as well, Dave. Did you hear him?
Negative, I think I must have doubled when he came up. Yeah, I'll put him down in the log. Okay, mate, so it's going to be Dave and then Frank. Cheers, off you go.
Q6 NRH, M7 IPY returning. Going back to turntables for Justin, so everyone else is going to fall asleep now. Yeah, I'm really into vinyl playback. I never got rid of any of my vinyl whatsoever. Neither did my wife. Or whatever we say, 9 and 5, 5 and 9, 5 and 9. Let's get it done the right way, guys. Except for old Yakup, it's 1-1. I can tell that someone's there, but I can't actually hear what's going on. Which is a bump. But I'm probably going to see him this afternoon. Because I'm running into my great custody, so that I can still set up like a coat video outside the house now and get some time. So I can
Yeah, so I run a Garage 401 in a SMD isolated gas cylinder with a SME 3009 9-inch Vestina. So Goldring, what they said to me, 1042 versus the 1022 GX. So the 1042 is only 10% more expensive, it's not much more. So, and they said, Justin, the 1042 setup precisely differs and exceptional performance, but it does rely on having VTA on your tone arm, and then hours of spare tweaking the various points of adjustment. The 1022 GX runs a very close second to the 1042. Due to its diamond profile, it's not so critical in terms of setup, nor to get back down a bit. So, given that I change your shelf, I'm going to mess around with that. Now, the other thing we talked about was the LX versus HX, low output versus high output moving coils. One thing that puts me off moving coils is the difficulty of changing the stylus. You can't, you have to send back for retipping. So, it puts me off somewhat moving coils because of the rub, isn't it? And the other, so the other, that they did say I would notice a further improvement if I went for the Erotica range. It's a good name for a cartridge, Erotica, isn't it? Erotica HX, for example. But I've got a moving coil module. If I was going to go moving coil, I'd just go for the low output version. The preamp has that. It's just you have to change the preamp module in the Quad 34. Mark, yeah, I remember that not the 9 o'clock news. That actually, there's something in there which is actually incorrect. I've actually got a couple of LPs which are Dolby encoded. Why you would have Dolby encoded LPs, I do not know, because you know the equalization curve does the job, the RAA equalization, and of course it adds a lot of bass. So yeah, the noise on an LP is bass related. It's not you know, top end related. So I don't quite understand why you would ever have a Dolby system on a disc. But there were some issues. I do have a couple which have Dolby noise reduction. Unless there was another system I'm not aware of which was designed for vinyl. I suppose it was possible, you know. DBX type compounding or something would probably work, but yeah, there you have it. But you know, noise in vinyl is more associated with a low frequency end. But it's the cartridge. It's all about matching with your tone arm. I do have an acoustic research turntable as well, and which I've used as well over the years. That's only got 3345, so the 401 is the better turntable anyway. But the AR is nice. It's got the Lin basic arm on it, and funny enough a P77. The Lin went through a phase in the 80s where they felt they were losing ground to some of the cheaper tone arms out there and wanted to go into, you know, not so much down market, but they came up with a design, and it was made for them in Japan. So it's the only Japanese tone arm that Lin ever sold. BASIK basic, so it's got that. And I have a couple of other turntables as well, an SP25, and you probably know from the club a 0100, which I've got to do a refurb on. 0100's not a serious turntable for me, but it's nevertheless interesting because it has that tracking correction. But I'm not sure that the extra weight of a tone arm, you know, makes it worthwhile. But there we have it. And years ago in the 70s, before the 401, I had a BSR 710, which was quite respectable turntable in the day, and it had an ADC cartridge on it, which again was quite a respectable cartridge in its day. And I had when I first got the 401, it had a Grado FT Plus. I put a Grado FT Plus on it. And if you like Grado, but the P77 was definitely an upgrade when I got that. I still got the Grado though, and it shouldn't be too worn. I didn't get a massive amount of playtime, so it's probably fine. I'll just have a look at it to see what it is, but I don't use it. Say Mark, the other thing was the one that really got me going, I think when I was a kid, was Flanders and Swan, and the Song of Reproduction. Still find it funny to this day, actually. Really do. There you have. I'm not a serious person. I know what I like to sound, but I must admit, there's so much BS in this hi-fi business. It makes me laugh, you know, being diffusing the right way around and stuff, you know. It really makes me laugh, a lot of the BS. And I did, what's the one I heard? Yeah, there's an awful lot of BS out there, unfortunately, but people are prepared to spend a lot of money on junk or nonsense, you know. But there we go, if that's what they want to spend their money on. My advice to people is to buy good quality second hand. For most things, not so much cartridge so much, but you know, good quality second hand. Find yourself an old linear B12 or whatever. Like you, I like all the formats. I I've got a Quad 67 CD player. I've got a Lin a stream receiver. It's a Lin accurate stream receiver. Superb. It certainly found some magic on that. Make it sound so good. And I've got now my next project is the Revox A77 Mark IV Dolby, which I've acquired, and I've had delivered now the component kit to recap it and trim pot it and a few other bits and pieces, a few other spares as well, and some new tape guides and the like. So that's my next big project, Project 77, and I've got a Denon 710 3-motor 3-head dual capstan cassette deck as well, which has got HX Pro on it, which is another superb system. Anyway, I'm going to make this my last over. I've got to go. My little girl, my little tiny girl, I'm going to get to my dad's house. So that's what I'm going to do. And FDP, your normal scope, I've taken out of it, but you can assume you're safely a good S9 plus 10. And everyone else is S9 or S10. NRH S9, JCS S910, IPY S9, KPZ S910, KK. Oh, I actually heard 3 words from you. A friendly passing aeroplane went over. Otherwise, that's 0. An FDP, I can't quite remember, but you're certainly at least in this one thing. Right, over to G0KPZ, G8YTZ.
From G0KPZ. Dave NRH, did I hear M7 FSC calling at some point?
Well, M7, or when I talk about M7, no, I didn't hear anything, unless I'll give him a quick call out. Did you actually call? I'm just standing by, listening for anybody who wants to get in. This is Golf 6 November, Romeo Hotel, just standing by to see if anybody else wants to get on the 2-meter Sunday morning net. M7 FSC. M7 FSC, yes, I'll put you down in the log. You'll be going after G0FDP. Okay, mate. Back to you, David.
I'll try and keep this quick because we've got others that haven't had an over yet. All I was going to say, seeing as this turned into a bit of a hi-fi session, in the 60s and 70s I was into all of this. I wasn't very clever, but I had an SP25. I had a couple of separate valve amps because I'd put an Autofon stereo cartridge in, which was very unusual at that time, and I had homemade speakers and it all worked. And over the years I've upgraded it and made it worse to the point where I don't use it anymore. Mainly I've got a Cambridge amp and I've got more than short speakers, and the CDs and the tape machines work great, but I've got this really rubbish Technics deck which just sounds terrible. And for me, records now, I sit there thinking, records just sound horrible. They're scratchy, noisy, no matter whatever I do to it, it sounds terrible. I looked loads and loads of times thinking, do I get another deck? I just get really confused by it all. And now as I've run out of money, I sit there thinking, well, that's it. I've got a big record collection, but I just confine myself to the other CDs and tapes, etc., and radio. So there you go. Where are we? FSC, big signal here with me. Dave G4 now, S9, Frank FDP, S9 Plus, etc., etc. So I won't hold it. I should pass it to Jakob, but I think he's gone. I was hearing him about an F2 or S2 or S3, and then he kind of disappeared into the noise for most of his over, and he came back up to about an S2, S3 right at the end. So I have no idea because he's usually a good signal, so I have no idea what's going on there. I'll pass it back to you, Dave, because I don't know where it goes after Yakup. I can't remember. G6NRH to take it from G0KPZ in the group.
G0KPZ, G6NRH. Yeah, it should go now to G4NOW. Over to you, Dave.
G6NRH and the Cray Valley 2 meter net, G4NOW. Well, as it's getting on, I won't hold it too long. Everybody's strong. Yakup was giving a signal strength 9, but it was fluttering around. Very, very odd, because I was getting him quite strongly here. All the signals, Tony, M7 FSC, very, very strong as well. So you're all good. Database audio slightly lower, but I think you're a softly spoken bloke. You'll soon become a loudmouth in Cray Valley, no problem. Nothing really to add here. I'm in the process. I've been talking with Tony FSC. He's very helpful with the Kia project. And so I'm about 80-90% through on my one, so I've got to do it. Just a reminder to everybody, this is my new highly paid publicity officer role. 2nd of May, the first meeting. They've got a couple of guys coming to talk about the receiving signals from the International Space Station, so that's going to be a good one. And on May the 16th, you better all finish your projects, because it's the project evening, I presume, when we'll all line them up, and there'll be a first prize. Anyway, I think it goes to Frank now. If I'm wrong, could you jump in, Dave? Dave NRH. I'll pass it to Frank. I think he came up after me, or I'm not certain whether MSFSC, but I think it goes to Frank. G0FTP from G4 now.
Yep, okay, Dave. G4NOW, G0FTP. Yes, I did come up just after you, and we got M7FSC after me. Okie doke. Not a lot to say, because it's now, 7 minutes to 11. But all I wanted to say was, well done on everybody else who's chatted away there, all about your hi-fis and all that. I've got tons of records upstairs in my drawers, 12-inch, 7-inch, and also the other ones as well that go with it. But I haven't got a player for it. I've got a small player. That's the only thing that sits on top of the hi-fi. That's the only thing I've got. Well, you can put vinyls on top of that record player if you need to. Also, what I was going to say is this, I got an email from my granddaughter the other day. She wants a picture copied out. So I thought, I'll put the thing on the laptop, put the laptop connected up to the printer, put in a piece of paper, and try to print it. I printed it printed out okay. The only thing is, I think my printer's gone up the creek a little bit to the fact that the picture now, it shows a nice good black and white size of it, but the facial areas, it looks like someone's got yellow jaundice. So I've got to purchase myself a new printer sometime, which I think my son's going to get for me on Monday. There's a couple of printers around which I'd like to actually use, mainly for printing photographs, really. That's the main thing. Printing black and white ordinary copy is no problem. It's just the pictures that I've got to print, which are not very good. And my old printer now, it must be getting on for quite a few years old. That's probably why it don't work quite so well as it used to, especially on the picture side on colour. There we are. Anyway, enough of that. It's 5-2 now, so we'll pass it over to M7 Foxtrot Sierra Charlie. Is that correct, from G0FTP?
M7FSC, yes, thank you very much. Yeah, good morning to you all. Just a couple of signal reports really to pass over. You're all good signals. G4NOW, your audio is quiet, good signal, but maybe you need to drill a hole in the microphone casing like I have. Sit that project. Yeah, that's it really. Yakup, nothing at all. Absolutely nothing. Not a twitch. I don't think I do well in sync-up because I can't hear Mark either. Well, I can. He's R2. Very, very noisy R2. But yeah, that's it. I won't hold it because it's time is of the essence, as they say. So, M7 FSC in the group.
morning in the Cray Valley 2-metre net. Well, we've still got a couple of minutes, I suppose, so we could have a quick run through, I suppose, or we could shut the net down a bit early, I suppose. Just depends if anybody's had enough nattering and see how it goes. I'll just leave it open just to see if anybody else wants to have a quick chat. Golf 6, November Romeo Hotel, just standing by. Well, nothing